truly cometh in the morning, thanks to planet Jupiter. Why is that so, and why is planet Jupiter so significant in bringing forth joy into our everyday lives? Let's look at some historical perspectives of planet Jupiter. Planet Jupiter is said to be the largest in dimension in our Milky Way galaxy, and is the sixth planet orbiting the sun, the fifth planet orbiting the sun, actually. As we see that we just had the great conjunction in the end of 2020 on December solstice, with Jupiter and Saturn being so close to each other, the fifth and the sixth planet coming at a 0 point, representing the expansion and awakening unfoldment of our new earth. Now, as I've discussed previously, astrology is the scientific written text to give us an understanding of our greater universe. So as we begin to even tap deeper into understanding our universal cosmos, we look to astrology and somewhat science and history to find the answers as to why they're so significant in our everyday lives. And we'll see why Jupiter is indeed the planet that brings us forth joy essence into our everyday lives. So as we tap into astrology, we see too that in astrology, mythological Greek astrology, Jupiter is called Zeus, and actually characterized as the son of Cronus, which represents Saturn, the lord of time and karma. Now, we see now that Jupiter, in ancient astrology, ruled over the planet Pisces, and in modern day astrology now rules over the planet Saturn. Now, if we all look at our birth charts, we see that we all have aspects of Jupiter in our birth chart. And so, Jupiter represents the growth, expansion, good fortune, higher mind based on philosophical studies in understanding our greater cosmos. Jupiter too, like other planets, we're now discovering that Saturn is not the only planet with rings, but Jupiter too does in fact have rings surrounding it, but instead of being gaseous in nature, the ring of Jupiter is made of dust. So we see how all of our planets are in fact interconnected, somewhat similar, but have certain features of them. Now, as I've enforced before, does life reside on these planets? The answer is a resounding yes. Now, it may not be the expectations of beings or humans similar in nature to us, but we have to now see that the divine presence in beings that sends them forth all of the divine codes within us do in fact live in the dimension of planets outside of us, and all of the stars and systems and galaxies. Now, as we take that into full understanding, what great joy Jupiter brings to us. We do in fact now connect it to the astrological signs. Let's say we tap into the ancient overseer of Pisces. Pisces is that water sign that just represents such unconditional presence of love. And as a water sign, we see that water is a great flow, that just goes on to infinity, that has no boundaries or borders. So there is the representation of expansion as it resides over Pisces. And Pisces has this great spiritual nature about it. Now, as we look at the sign Sagittarius, which often represent the higher mind, the great adventurers of the universe. You know, we see that even the essence of Sagittarius has this great optimistic, joyful nature because of Saturn's deep connection with the multi-universe, knowing that we are here to truly expand. So we do in fact see when we tap into understanding these planets and the significance in our birth chart, why it is so important to us to reflect that in our everyday lives. Now, once we hit that transit of the Great Conjunction in 2020 on December solstice, we see that many of us have begun to awaken. Some had awakened previously, but that's when we see great numbers of people being awakened and expanding to understanding spirituality and the greater cosmos. Now, why is it that Jupiter brings so much joy to us? Jupiter is the growth and expansion of fortune. Now, we think of fortune just being the material, monetary features. Fortune is, in fact, understanding who you truly are. Fortune is, in fact, seeing that you now have the chance to become the co-creator of your own life with your dynamic life force and gift. And when you begin to see beyond the other realms, you see that we have been so limited in this dimension. Now, as I've previously enforced and stated, Saturn was the presiding feature of rulership, presenting us with great limitations. But the battle that we now talk about when it comes to spirituality and awakening is now seeing that we are battling to take back our power from being in a limited dimension to being an ever unfolding, expanded universe. We begin to see that even just the character in Greek mythology of Zeus and the representation signifies a great essence, Now we won't tap too much into this Greek mythology, but we'll just use this as a representation of the significance of the expansion that's happening in our lives. We're seeing that now that we're shifting into the Aquarian Golden Age. It's so pivotal in seeing that we can no longer live in this limited dimension. We now have the chance to tap into the higher mind's essence of Jupiter and what it represents in bringing forth joy and optimism and faith and seeing that we have no boundaries and borders of creating a new holistic universe. We see that, our spiritual essence has been raised into deeply connected into what lives beyond the veils of the earthly dimension, into now seeing that there are in fact life inside Earth, and as we continue to expand as Jupiter represents more life, or joy presence is just ever unfolding, that we no longer have to see the joy essence only reflected when we gain just the material thing. We just have to learn to be in that joy present, just because we were given the chance to reincarnate in this lifetime, to do it all over again and become the best and truest versions of ourselves. So now we get to see that and we, are so fortunate to come back here to shift from one age to the other, even if there's friction. And we see that, it's almost like it's a push and pull of letting go of the old world and bringing in the new. But we see that we are the true leaders right now, bringing the shift. So we now have to fully understand that. Let's tap into the higher dimensional realms of what Jupiter represents. And as we will see the vitalness for tapping into our historical notions, scientific notion, and astrological notions of how they are so significant to us in the birth chart to help us shape agency. So much